AM 970 WSTX.
Kaiso! Come out and celebrate Crucian culture. A whole week of fun, no afraid to come out. And now the Legair, you are Crucian. Come out. Crucian, I beg you hard. Who live here? Oh, abroad. Crucian, I beg you hard. Who live here? Oh, from abroad. Time to preserve our culture and who we really are. The Landmarks Society will celebrate our history. Come home to sing, cry. Come home. Come home to sing, cry. Come home. To see our families. Come home. To eat fish and fungi. Come home. Everybody together. That is Crucian culture. So, please come home. You have to know your families, to know who you be. A country without a culture have to suffer. Your food you eat is part of it. You know you from your music. Just say you're there. Then we know who you be. Come home to sing, cry. Come home. Come home to sing, cry. Come home. To eat crab and callaloo. Come home. Camp pork and dumpling too. Come home. That is our tradition from our long time generation. Landmarks Society have a week of activities. Our goal is preservation, heritage, and tradition. Honoring our ancestors with workshops and lectures, storytelling and games playing. Come home to sing, cry.
That's right, folks. Come home to sing, cry.
Come home to sing, cry.
Landmarks Society, well represented here today. They're going to introduce themselves and start talking about the program and what all they've got planned. All right, so the floor is all yours.
My name is chairing the committee of Come Home to Sing Croix, and we're here to tell you all about it. Next week we have here. My name is
Well, there is our music.
My name is
We have to preserve
I am
it
the office manager
for
for
our
the
young
Croix
ones
Landmarks Society
and our newborn.
and I provide support and other assistance for this event, for this program and other programs and events that Croix Landmarks Society operates.
And we're going to ask Essence Carter to tell us about Landmark.
All right, so Landmarks Society is a nonprofit organization that is dedicated to spreading the history and culture of St. Croix. In this, we do a lot of research, programs, and camps that help us develop and spread that knowledge across to all people.
For those of you who don't know, Landmarks is a nonprofit organization. We rely heavily on community support, and many of the programs that we do are intended to be outreach and like a give back to the community. So when you see our ads for education programs, places that matter, things like that in the newspaper, really you should make an effort to come out because everything we do is for the community.
All right.
And we have some programs coming up. We have the summer camp.
Yeah, we have Discover St. Croix Camp. That's a 5-week summer camp that we're holding. Starts next week, actually. June 26th. It runs until July 29th. Our ages for campers are ages 6 through 12. We do things like culture and history workshops for the kids where they learn things like drumming, They get to meet with our culture bearers who do carrizo, drumming, instrument making, things like that. They do a little bit of cooking sometimes. They also go on field trips and to visit places of historic and cultural significance. Um, and lots of other things. I've just scratched the surface of what they do. They one year they did like artisanal basket making. We have a craftsman who works with us. He's one of our culture bearers. He taught them how to make like boxes. They've learned things that, instead of doing tie-dye t-shirts and the norm that you typically do in summer camp, I think they'll get a true enrichment experience when they come to Discover St. Croix Camp. We're also having it, I know we're having it in St. Thomas as well, and for the St. Thomas side, we'll be calling it the Discover Our Virgin Islands Camp. The St. Thomas one starts in August. I'm not sure on the exact dates yet, but I can provide those to you later.
All right, fantastic. All right, good. Naeemah, it's like this is the third time around, I guess.
Yeah.
The third time around. Well, welcome home, or are you home to stay now?
I'm home.
You're home to stay. All right, good. Well, you do a good job of being undercover. I see you when it's come home to sing, pretty much, or hear from you around that time. So, but it's always a pleasure, and in that regards, and I have to come down there and get a video that I'm going to be giving to you folks from when we went to Denmark, so that you'll be able to, from time to time, show that to the public also. All right? But come home to St. Croix. We got the big yard, we got the carousel singers, we have the crafts people, as we call them, culture bearers, that come out in many different capacities. And it's really something that I think that more people on St. Croix need to take the time. Sometimes they get it in their mind that somehow the other landmark society is for tourists. How can your culture be for tourists? If you know your culture, that's one thing. All right, and that's what I like in the theme of the song. Don't take it for granted. Just that even to fixing fungi and kalu. And I'll tell you all a joke, okay? And then I'm gonna shut up and let you all talk. But me and my far self, I love my fungi, okay? So I wanted to know how to make fungi, and I was showed how to make fungi. My grandmother, God bless her soul, showed me how to make the fungi, and mother helping, whatever. Lord, it be that thing that walk out your hand. My son, I have all respect for the culture bearers that'll make fungi, because I ain't gonna be a culture bearer. I gonna eat it, but I let them do it. But yeah, it's simple little things like that cumulatively add up to what we call culture. And Come Home to St. Croix is a way of bringing people back home, as well as bringing people home back out, in that sense. So we have a tentative schedule in place in terms of, I know the first day when they have the blessings and the libation, okay, folks, no free Heineken and no rum and coke, okay? This is the cultural libation type of thing, okay? We'll talk a little bit about that first day, what we do to set the tone.
Well, we have the opening on Sunday, July 16th at 3 p.m. And we will have the libation done by Kofi Button. And he is from Ghana, Africa, as you well know. So, that's a true way of doing it. This year we have a couple of focus. We're going to have a memorial or a special program for Swen Holson, who was a landmark supporter and who recently passed away. And he had a McCollum essay, and there will be students presenting those essays. But the main focus is going to be on Alberta Viola Roberts. And this is a young girl, along with Victor Cornelius and others, who were taken to Denmark and put on exhibition. So we're going to have a lecture on Alberta Viola Roberts, as well as an exhibition. And within the exhibition, they hope to convey to people who view it what human exhibition is all about. And, it has happened for many years, and what happened exactly with Viola when she was in Denmark. And the next day, which is the Monday, there's going to be a tour of the area where she lived in Frederiksted. So that's how we're going to begin. Come home to St. Croix.
Okay, well, we have to talk about that because I think I have some resources that are going to help you with that. There's a very good presentation that I documented with regards to that. That would be
great.
good to have on display
Great.
during that time. Okay.
Well, you miss Winifred Hardy Clark, and Mr. Doward and Joan Keenan are three of the persons that are working on that exhibit. So I'll let you know that you will be contacting them too.
All the people them who said not me again, did they?
They can't stay
I
away.
love it. I love it.
They cannot
I love
stay
it.
away.
Bronco, I don't think it's retirement time. Yeah, you got some work to do. 'Cause, yeah. All right. No, but I have to say, folks, having worked with them in the horse racing one in particular,
Yes, they still are.
there's a kind of camaraderie and fun that we have. So we needle each other and joke with each other and everything else and so forth and so on. But these folks keep doing the same thing over and over, and somehow they say they're going to change. So I think
Well,
Bronco
I'm sure
might have some
Mary
work.
Roebuck is listening.
I know she's listening, and I know she's laughing too. All right. Well, this is great. This is great. And folks, you got to come out and see. Last year was the first year the implementation of the big yard. Okay, and
Or maybe 2015.
2015
Yeah.
or 2015. It's last year to me in my mind.
Mhm.
Anyhow, the big yard concept, and there's so many things that are washed away with change in the community because if I say Alejo store, 99% of the people ain't know where Alejo store there. And just so if people have people before me talk about Miss so and so and Mr. so and so who used to sell this or do that, and I wouldn't know. And the more we can do things to kind of bring back some image. So the big yard, what was reminiscent of that for me is that where I live, they had a place we used to call Long Row, which was set up basically the same, okay? And at the Long Row, they didn't have any running water. So they used to do what we don't call cat water, okay? So up the road, they had a public standpipe, and they would fill up the buckets and carry these buckets down the road, cat water. And I know all them folks had strong arms, but now, of course, everybody has in-house plumbing and everything else. And they have supermarkets. There was never a community store, a mom and pop store that they used to go to, So we have to do these things to let folks know that, hey, that ain't the way it always was.
Yes, to let people know whose back you've been,
Mhm. Who laid the groundwork
Yeah.
that you're now enjoying these amenities? Yeah, and it's this progression and the culture that comes around it is not necessarily unique to us in some respects. The progression, because I know my mother went to La Plata, Maryland, which I see that the Virgin Islands Association in DC is having their get together on the 25th in a park in La Plata. But she went there to do, in essence, like an internship as a nurse. And she left in-house plumbing to go and meet outhouse plumbing. And I say that sometimes we look at our culture and development and people put it down in terms of every place being better. And in many ways, we're leading the way. Okay. The presentation about Hubert Harrison opened my eyes. Virgin Islanders out there, Virgin Islands before we were even a Virgin Islands, making an impact historically. So it's important that we do things like come home to St. Croix to better appreciate our culture and what made St. Croix into the place that it was, whether 100 years ago or today. Okay, by talking too much, folks.
Well, I
don't let that go. Okay, he got this problem sometimes when he start running his mouth.
I think this is the right time to follow that up with saying that landmarks needs volunteers. They need help throughout the year. We need help now with Come Home to St. Croix. So anybody who's out there who would like to come to landmarks, who would like to volunteer with landmarks, should call and give us your name, your address, your phone number, and then we will call you when something comes up.
Our number is 772-0598. You can email me. My email address would be support@stcroixlandmarks.org. We need, for Come Home to St. Croix specifically, we need people for the gate to do admissions. We would need exhibit docents, people to attend to the exhibits while the activities are going on. We need, if you have your food handler's card or your health card, we wouldn't mind having you serving food on days when we are having refreshments. We need all kinds of things. I'm just going off the top of my head. If you're a retired policeman, or if you do security for the large events, we would like to have security guards. Or if there's anything you think you can contribute. There's a lot of photographers. We definitely need photographers. You don't have to be a highly skilled photographer. We just need somebody documenting what's going on. So if you have a little camera or even a cell phone and you feel like that's something you could do for the day, we'll take you. And if there's anything you think you can contribute, just call us at 772-0598 or email support@stcroixlandmarks.org, and we will definitely get in touch with you. There's one person who has called us expressing interest in volunteering. If you're listening, we haven't forgotten about you. We're going to get back to you today.
All right, fantastic. All right. Volunteers make the world go round, because if everybody had to do what need to be done because they got paid, Lordy be what a trouble we would be in. Okay, so we appreciate the volunteers and their commitment to culture and the betterment of this museum for the people. That's really what it's all about. All right, folks, we're going to take a little break here and come back and continue the conversation.
AM 970 WSTX.
Okay, folks, we're back. Home to St. Croix on WSTX 970 AM, your community-minded station. 773-0390, 773-0490. So, a little thing like taking the milk tandem and boring a hole on each side and tying a string and holding a string and walking on them. Children used to be so excited that they had their own. And I say that. I had a little workshop where that was one of the things that we did. And those children took them home and hung them up on their wall. I did that. And they were so amazed. That's what I used to do as part of having fun. But, I go back to my good friend Bronco and talk about them stick hus. Okay? Just you go and find a piece of tantan that's straight enough and cut it down, tie something on the head, put a little string on it, and you go and boog it up around the place. That was your hus. The fastest hus in town. And so these are things that all tie into our culture, how we and our forebears grew up. Of course, they can add more to it. And another aspect of it is the extent to which cricket was played here in the Virgin Islands as a sport. And people think of us in terms of baseball, and like baseball was always here. Well, baseball had a forerunner before baseball, and it was cricket. And you got to embrace your culture, embrace your past. You can't run away from it or hide it, push it down, because it's all important. You could choose what you want to do. If you want to play tennis, you want to I forget the name of the sport where you push those stones on the floor, whatever. Curling. Yeah, curling, yes. You want to do that? That's fine. But having knowledge does not take away from what you choose to pursue. Okay? All right. So we've got a great conversation going on here with folks from the Landmark Society. So Doug, gonna stop running him out and let him talk.
Well, I just like to start off by saying my name's Essence, and I began with WIM in 2015 as an intern, and I helped to create that long row exhibit that is now on display now. But being here in those short 2 months showed me the importance of culture. Culture is a big thing for St. Croix, and I could not get enough while I was here. I felt that people would embrace the culture, and people love to share their culture with me. They would like to show me the different fruits, the different foods, talk about their different skills, and some of those skills I had never even seen or heard of before. So even if you are from St. Croix or if you're not, you can still come and learn something new. That is what makes me so passionate about being in the museum now, is because it's a place, it's to learn, no more than going to work or going to school. But in these types of institutions, it's a fun learning style. You get to enjoy what you are learning while you're experiencing it. And we try to be hands-on. We want you to feel those drums. We want you to blow that conch shell so you can really experience the culture for yourself.
You know, I'm going to throw out a little challenge for Come Home to St. Croix. Looking down the road is I want Come Home to St. Croix to be the focal organization to come up with a list of things that we could turn into itinerary and bring CNN down here. What's the name of the guy who goes around in all these places in the world? He's in Trinidad this week. Okay? In Trinidad this week. So why he can't be here? He could be here, but we have to plan for it. Anyhow, that's just Anthony Bourdain. Anthony Bourdain, okay? Yeah, so I think we need to do a little special project, even if it's affiliated with the landmarks and done by a different group in support of landmarks. That would be an interesting thing to do because it would take a Come Home to St. Croix to a whole nother level. You know, folks think about CNN and they very often think that these things are out of reach. Then the other thing is maybe we can plan that we do a documentary and get it to the Museum of Black History in Washington, D.C. as a video exhibit, you know. So it's so much that we can do, folks, because our culture matters, is important, is documentable, and it's precious, but you have to pass it on. It's just like gold. If you don't take it, somebody else gonna go with it and say it's this.
And it has been done already. But you know, Canton, your name is on the committee, you know. I just...
well, yeah, but I don't do my part now. Don't
I know you do. I know you do.
I don't do my part. Don't beat me,
but
please.
Your name is there. Your name. I just want you to know your name is there.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, folks, I'm involved, and I think that I'm a good example to others that being involved doesn't necessarily mean formal board meetings and conflicting with everything that you have to do. All you have to have is something that you want to contribute, and you can go about and you bring your contribution at the appropriate time and place and whatever. One of the ways that I contribute is with through the documentary, the horse racing video that you can see down there was something that was done for Landmarks, and that was my contribution. And I think that's the first time that we made the jump. We jumped that broom into using audiovisual as part of the exhibits. And that's something I would like to see more of, but we need more volunteers, and we have to do the fundraising so that we can bring in the kind of technology that will allow us to do it without having to engender a big expense. Because to have a TV as opposed to a dedicated type of device that has a TV type screen in it, you know, at various locations. So people could come, scan the QR code, and get the information off the web about the particular site. Yes, we know the Fort is doing it and other folks are doing it. Well, you know,
landmarks need to do.
Yeah. So these are the type of things that that I in particular try to bring as a matter of technology and enlightenment and actualization. Okay, Doug, don't go around here using big word and take your own trip up. And children in school will ask you, I hear Mr. Canton, you use a word actually. What do you mean by that? Well, basically, talk is cheap. You gotta make it happen. Okay? And that's why in here we can talk about the problems only if you got something to talk about what to do about the problem. Because life too short just to be talking about problems, because problems are just proof of life. And everything that I mentioned there in terms of technology are just part of the proof of life of how we can make strides to continue to make this a world-class destination for not just the Denmark relationship and slavery. And I say that I like how Landmarks, although it's based on a plantation, is not there to tell people that, hey, our story began and end with slavery. No. We brought so much more to the table, and we need a place like Landmarks that is a venue that can embrace it all and have you make a journey.
Well, one of the activities that we're having, I'm going to skip around a bit. I'm going to go to the Saturday genealogy workshops, because speaking about we didn't start as slaves, people have the opportunity to go to landmarks and learn about their roots. And in 2 different workshops that are going to be presented during Come Home to St. Croix, and I can tell you that there are many people, and I hope some of them are listening and would call into the station and tell us what their experiences have been and what they have found in terms of their roots going through the genealogy process at Landmark. I can tell you that Sonia Jacobs Dow has found our roots as a person named Jericho, all the way. And so she is, busy, trying to put that together so that, that would be presented. But it's important to find out that from Ghana, you have this person named Jericho who has kept her original African name. I mean, many times that's unheard of. There are a few families in the Virgin Islands that have kept their last name, like the Saki family. But, you may be able to do that by going through the workshops. And SS is going to tell us about the workshops that are going to happen on Saturday.
So we will begin our workshop Saturday starting at 10 a.m. with Mr. Jerry Doward, and he's going to start with Family History 101. These are all going to be hands-on workshops. We ask that if attendees can bring their laptop, that's another way to help follow along, but you get to have access to those resources. What makes Landmarks in Estate Wim so special is we have a genealogy library, a place where you can go to those popular websites such as Ancestry and Family Search, but as well are able to sit down and go through books and documents where your family history was written down, and you can connect it to what you already know. If you need help, we have assistants that are in the library to help move you through that path. We like to have a space for you to document what you find along the way, but this is definitely a way for you to learn your family history. That's something that's become popular now, but it's also very important to us. I feel that when you learn your family history, that gives you a sense of purpose. You can start to understand why you are doing why you're doing things the way you're doing them now, because you understand the people that came before you and the skills that they had and what made them so special. So definitely that's going to be important. We will continue on with Family History 201 that explains that if you come to a roadblock, the types of things you should do. And then we will finish off with Family History 301, where you celebrate what you have learned. You learn to create family gatherings, reunions, and if not, doing something like a book or a video, just to make sure you put that history together into a sacred place, and then a special place to share with others as well.
All right, fantastic. Okay. Well, I just want to mention to folks that the Landmark Society is on Facebook. Okay, so you can communicate with them on Facebook. And I know you have a website, but I understand you got some redevelopment and redesign going on with that. Okay, so it's something that that helps to make that connection. Okay, good, good. The most important thing though is not the all the technology. It's you. It's your children. It's your grandchildren. You got to bring them out. Let them see. You know, folks. I know how to spin top. Okay, Uh, what my challenge is where to buy one these days. If anybody know where I could buy a top here on St. Croix, I want to get one or two because I have some young people that I will show these things to. You know, I mean, I used to be the master at that, and you spin it out there, and it doesn't even touch the ground. I go up in the air, and I put my hand on it, and it would spin on my hand. And children look at that stuff and say like, wow, like no, that's what I learned as a child. You could do it too, and then you show them, and that's how you do it. And that's what, in essence, Come Home to St. Croix gives an opportunity to do. Whether it's genealogy, what you're doing is showing people how to track their family, and you don't have to be no rocket scientist to do it.
And many times that story isn't told. Sometimes your family members could pass that information along, but we don't have pictures, we don't have stories. So as the information is passed along, we can then start to see that by studying our genealogy, which is now available to us through the museum.
Okay, WSTX Reflections talking about Come Home to St. Croix.
Good morning, Doug. Good morning, Landmarks people.
Good morning.
Doug, I saw tops at one of the woodworking shows.
Uh-huh.
No, I don't know if it was Mr. Brignoni, but there was one at the Great Hall, and I know there was tops in there.
Okay, all
like
right.
Turned.
Okay,
like beautiful wooden, more art pieces than actual toys. But I remember seeing them there.
All right. Well, I really, if you could be my personal envoy and figure out where I can actually purchase them, or have somebody who could make them as a project.
Sorry, this is it. This is the tip.
Okay, I got a tip. I'm not. You know how it is. I'm just reaching to see if I could get a little bit more. Okay.
Of course you are. You got to do that.
Yes.
All right. Now I have to implore you.
Uh-huh.
Remember the people that are not technology savvy, right?
That's right.
Because they're out there, and a lot of people can't afford to, have a high technology phone. They can barely afford the. I'm assuming they still have the landlines.
Well, let me tell you, right?
Better price for people that need it.
Right. We got a plan, We're gonna have our posters in every bakery and Armstrong ice cream and every place else to make sure that the word of mouth get to be picture to eye.
Well, because a lot of people, first of all, can't afford it, and then there are a lot of people who are afraid.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm speaking of like the more mature people.
Yeah, I understand.
Right? And it's like, are there still the Landmarks people? Are we still going to have visual exhibits up so that we can come and look?
Yes, most definitely. See, Doug talking again because he did down in the committee. He figured he could answer for everybody. Check yourself.
I know in the past they had, God, what was it? The Bow family, I think. It was unbelievable, the exhibit they had, and how much they've uncovered, and all the way back to, I guess, Ghana.
Yeah.
But then all these other little strings going out all over the place in the States, too. It was like, oh, my God, look at this. So, I think the actual physical, not on a screen, is very important.
Definitely. So we're making sure we use all avenues to get the word out, and we're definitely being very visual. And I'm not sure which family it is this year, but I know that I was talking with Mary, and I believe we're going to have another exhibit in terms of the genealogy. But definitely it's oriented toward hands-on and touchy-feely, and that's the important thing, so people don't feel like they're in this sterile environment where there's a rope and you can look but you can't go over and touch.
Especially for children.
Mm-hmm.
They really, especially now when kids are just oriented to the screen, right? To get something that they can actually experience
Yep, definitely. That's the,
physical. And I know in the States, like in New Hampshire, they have actors who come around to the schools
mhm.
in costume and character, like, telling their stories. So, I mean,
I
to me, that
think
would be a really cool thing to
I
have here,
think that
too.
they're looking into that more because on during the week they come to at landmarks. But the challenge there is that in the school week, of course, the children are in school. But I'm seeing a more aggressive outreach from the Department of Education to bring those type of things into the school. So that's being explored also.
We have, Estate William has definitely established themselves as a living museum. When you go on any given day, you can expect to see at least 2 tradition bearers doing some type of activity, whether it's carousel, singing, drumming, cocktail making, candy making as well. And then in addition, we have hands-on exhibits. So just as in the Hosman exhibit, there's small figures that the children are allowed to play with and touch. We like to be that living museum where it's a hands-on experience throughout the entire process. So
That's excellent. Very
Okay.
good. All right, keep on, guys.
All right.
Thank
Thanks
you.
much. You have a
Thank you.
great day. All right.
And
I know.
And Doug, I know you were talking about Anthony Bourdain and CNN. This year we're doing something a little bit different. I know that you are familiar with the concept of the USVI ambassadors,
Mhm.
and usually that focuses on people who are away. Well, we are doing a VI ambassador, and we are focusing on a person who's here, who is a VI ambassador, and that is on Wednesday, July 19th, and that's Miss Janice Tutine, better known as Auntie Janice. And we're going to have like a tribute to her. It's going to be from 6 to 9 in the evening. And as part of it, we are having storytellers present, 2 or 3 storytellers present. Somebody like Donna, Ashiba, Samuel. We're going to have like Bully.
Bully.
We're gonna ask.
Doc.
We're gonna ask
Radiant.
Doc. We're gonna ask Mr. Schroeder. We haven't told him yet.
Okay.
To write a
Caller,
poem.
hold on for a minute. Go ahead.
To write a poem for her. Of course, the family will be making presentations to her. So we are putting that together. Her friends, Landmark Society, and her friends are putting that together on the Wednesday. Excuse me.
Okay.
Now, what we plan to do, we're trying to put a booklet together. So I'm putting the word out that if you would like to present her in terms of something in writing, we are trying to put together a booklet. Hopefully it will be ready for that evening. But, if you have a message that you would like to give to Auntie Janice, call us at Landmark 77
20598.
and give us your name. Maybe try to stop by if you have it ready, or if you want to email it to us so that we can start putting that together. We know the people of St. Croix of the Virgin Islands love Auntie Janice, and we just want to show her how much we love her.
All right. Well, time is going to run out on us, but I have an idea how we can make more time. Of course, you're always welcome in between now and the starting of the Come Home to St. Croix to come back. Just let me know, and
I'm on hold.
Yes, I know. I'm coming to you right now. So I'm just telling you. So you're watching the time, okay? But we have a caller here. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, and good morning to the team that's there with you.
Good morning, Mary.
And to your listening audience.
I wonder who this is.
It's Mary.
I knew it was Mary.
All right.
I just messing with you.
When you have a baby, you nurture this baby and you keep it going, right?
That's right.
So Come Home is our baby. That's why even though we said this is the last, even the stable was named Last Lap because it was supposed to be the last.
Can't still wait.
You can't let it go.
That's right.
100%. You just can't. But in response to the caller that called in before, there's an exhibit up now from the Thompson family. That went up last year and is still there. And that Thompson family has, 4 boards. John Charles Thompson is the patriarch there, and then there's 3 other boards representing lines that come off from his roots. And it's very detailed, lots of pictures, there's information, there's, some text that you can read and find out a little bit about that particular branch of them. And it's amazing to see how people come in and they say, oh, I know this person, this is my uncle, or this is my aunt, or that's my great-grandfather, or something like that. So that is up. I don't know what the plan is for it, but it's there. And then, of course, you have the Venus exhibit and the transatlantic slave trade that was done by the students from various high schools. So there is a lot of visual, and there's some audio that's going along with that. And, of course, the horse exhibit is still there. In reference to part of what you were discussing about remembering things of the town, speaking about Christiansted right now, because that's where what I know. There's a young lady that wrote a very detailed description of her memories of what was where and who were the families, and, very detailed. And I am going to ask her permission to share that. I believe she sent it to Landmarks already, but maybe it's something that can be posted, or, it will trigger conversation and it will trigger some dialogues, whether in a set forum or, just amongst people that are coming to visit. So I'm going to ask her, and then Zoraida or Naeemah, I will let you know what her answer is, and I'm pretty sure she will say yes.
That
also,
sounds like a great idea.
one more thing, and I'm trying to get everything in that I'm thinking about it now.
30 seconds, but you don't have to get it all right in now, Mary. Now, what we're going to do is some of these things we're going to talk about, we're going to do some little off-site interviews and bring them to my show, because that way I want to make sure that you're able to dedicate your time on site doing the things in preparation, but at the same time can get your information out. Okay, so don't feel pressed that you got to get it all out right now. We're going to get it out, and I got some interesting things that I think we're going to be doing. Just you all have inspired me in terms of things that we can do to engage the public and make sure that the place going to be ram-packed when the program starts.
Right, and we have family coming in on the 16th that I can bring there, because, the reunion doesn't start till the 18th. So I'm going to bring whoever is here and is willing to go. I'm going to take them. And I'm also glad to hear about the workshop on the Saturday, because we have a free afternoon, and since it's in the morning, we have a few that are doing research, some that have never been on St. Croix before. And so I'm going to make sure that they know, and if they're interested in that, then I will make sure that they get to WIM.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much.
It's going to be a great program.
Not a problem. It's going to be good. It's going to be good.
Yeah. I'm
So
looking
you all
forward
have
to
a
it.
great day. I got to run.
Yeah. You
Thank
don't.
you, Mary.
You're only running. You run away from us.
No, man, I run away.
All right. Well, safe travels.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
You take care. Bye bye. All right. Well, it's almost that time, but after the show, I want to talk with you about some of these suggestions that I have that will help to leverage your voices and the activities that are going to be going on in a way that also is going to complement the fact they got plenty of work to do.
Yeah.
All right. It's definitely been a pleasure, and I'm looking forward. Like I said, the door is going to be open, so if there's something, even to do a little 15-minute update or something, the steady flow of information is important to making sure that the public can engage you. Every show, and I'm here a little bit over my time, but every show I'm always there talking about the calendar. Maybe you heard me talking about it earlier. I want to make sure that everybody know what's going on, and they ain't got no excuse. None of this, oh, I didn't know that was going on. I miss it. I wish I had no such. No, I gonna wipe that slate clean. You ain't had no excuse. If you didn't go, it's because you whatever, but not because you didn't know. Okay? All right. So, folks, Landmarks Society has a program called Come Home to St. Croix. And since it's that time, I'm going to close out with the music until they tell us that we have to do something else, okay? So, all right.
Kaiso, come out and celebrate Crucian culture. A whole week of fun, no afraid to come out. And now the Legair, you are Crucian. Come out. Crucian, I beg you hard, who live here, oh abroad. Crucian, I begging you hard, who live here, oh from abroad.